Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome to another week and a bit of a new series really. So probably going to do 4 or 5 videos focusing on my next goal that's coming up, which I'll talk about on this run and the training that I'm going to do for it. It's going to be to get in shape to do a 10k effort at Telford 10k in the middle of December. So I've not done this course before, but I've heard it's a very fast course, conducive for a PB. A few of my friends are doing it at a similar sort of pace, so it'll be good to have a blast out with them. So my current PB is 37:15 for 10k. I've not really been in shape to break one because I've been focusing on longer marathon distances this summer, but I would like to get down to that pace again, and I've got a month, 4-5 weeks to do something about it. So what I'm going to be doing is knocking my mileage down a little bit and focusing on doing more quality sessions and more speed work. The idea that this will work on my form and will work on my speed endurance element that is vital for a 10k, and hopefully have some pace in my legs for that 10k. And not only that, but going into the new year, I'd like to have a good crack at the 120 mark for my half marathon PB. So the idea that if I can get quicker at 5-10k sort of stuff, I'll be able to run that pace a lot more comfortable in my half marathon than at the moment. My half marathon pace is, my 5k pace, sorry, is probably limiting my half marathon. So if I can take around 30 seconds off my 5k and around a minute off my 10k before that half, that'll translate into enough to break 120 for the half. So that's the plan. And training wise this week, how I'm going to do it. So I'm away in Norfolk again until Wednesday now, so I'm going to probably look at doing a short interval session on possibly Tuesday and Thursday, and then I'm running on Sunday this week the Derby 10 mile, so I'm going to treat that as a tempo session, like a 10 mile, probably 6:30 pace, just to see how my legs are going and have recovered after a marathon. So it's been 2 weeks now since a marathon, probably about the right sort of time I take off and just ease back into training. So this week's training, I'm going to ease it in by sort of upping my sessions a little bit more rather than the volume. So I might have a lower volume week, but I'm going to hit 2 or 3 quality sessions, whereas I typically only hit 1 or 2. And yeah, try and carry that focus through this week. So I'll check in throughout the week, see you on the next one. Good morning, it's Wednesday morning now from Kings Lynn. It's over Walks Park. Back here again, if you saw any of the videos before Frankfurt Marathon. Hopefully for the last time this week, but I could be back again in future weeks. So I'm just going to hit a little tempo session this morning. Just trying to keep steady pace over probably sort of marathon pace effort for, I think I've got time for about 5k this morning. Just a little 3 laps of this park would be what the Kings Lynn parkrun route is. So I'll just come into the end of my 1 mile warm up. I'll check in throughout the session. Just behind the sun there, the stadium is a mighty Kings Lynn Town football club. Not quite sure what division they're in. Probably the conference is my guess. I'll check later.
So Kings Lynn Town play in National League North, and they are hosting Stevenage of League 2 in the second round of the FA Cup next weekend.
That's first mile down, 6:22, so that translates to about just under 20-minute 5k pace, so try and keep this up. That's 2 miles done, about 6:20 again, so getting a little bit quicker. Just try and hold this for the last one now. That's our session done now, so pleased with that one. The last rep was low 6:20s as well, so just adding up the splits roughly in my head, I think it was about 1950, 1955, but I'll check when I get the Garmin data later. So yeah, good session, pleased with that one. Didn't take up too much time either. Over and done in sort of 40 minutes from getting changed to back to the hotel. So yeah, pleased with that one. So training coming up, because this was only a small session today and I've done it in the morning, tomorrow evening I'm going to be doing a little pyramid session, all being well. Just probably build up from 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe up to 5, and then back down again. That's a nice little session, and then a little bit of taper before my session. Well, actually race on Sunday, so Derby 10 mile. I'll check in later.
It's now Sunday afternoon, post Derby 10 mile. Just going to do a roundup of this week's training. So started off on Monday, was that 10k run that I was on, about 8-minute miles there. So good little run to start the week. I then travelled to Great Yarmouth on Monday evening, and the run I did on Tuesday morning was a 5 mile along the beach at Great Yarmouth. It was very windy that morning. I remember being blown along the beach a little bit. It's about 20-mile-an-hour winds, but then I came back through the town there. So 5 miles in about 8:40 pace, that one. Then Wednesday morning, so I drove over to Kings Lynn, which is about an hour and a half from Great Yarmouth. I then hit a 5k tempo session in the morning. Probably planned to do maybe a 4 or 5 mile tempo, but I was running out of time before work. So I did 5k in 1943, which I was fairly happy with because it felt pretty comfortable. So anything under 20 minutes usually feels a little bit tough for me for 5k, but to do a 1943 and it feel fairly comfortable was obviously shows I'm in good shape following the marathon. I then travelled home Wednesday evening from Kings Lynn. It's about a 3-hour drive from Kings Lynn. And on Thursday I did a pyramid session with Robbie. So this one involved, we went from 30 seconds all the way up to 3 minutes. So it was a flat top pyramid. We've gone 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute 30, 2 minutes, 2 minute 30, up to 3 minutes, and then another 3 minutes and all the way back down again. So it was a really good session that was. I did a float recovery, so that float recovery is still keeping a little bit of pace in your recovery, so I think they were around low 7-minute mile pace, and then the reps were just under 6-minute mile pace there, and the recoveries were half of what the previous rep time was. So starting with a 15-second float on the 30-second one, all the way up to I was having a minute 30 between the 3-minute reps. So that was a great session Thursday night. Friday night, did the usual steady sort of 9 to 10 mile run with Sam. That was this week 10.5 miles at 7:11 pace, so fairly decent pace at a little bit quicker than an easy run, but as I said in previous videos, I do like doing one slightly quicker steady run in the week. As long as I'm not doing 2 or 3 of them, I'll still be improving on the shorter stuff when I'm going quicker than that, and then I'll be recovering on the easier runs, going more closer to 8-minute mile pace there. On to Saturday, so I just wanted to shake out on Saturday, just a short run to keep my legs turning over. Went and did Conkers parkrun. I did it in 23 minutes with Robbie and with Ash. We were having a chat on my way round, and I did a bit of form practice and did some strides in the car park after. So it was a good chance to I filmed Robbie and got Robbie to film me, so we could look at our form as we were doing the stride and see if there are little things that we can work on to get quicker, and not even get quicker, but just to run more efficiently and reduce the risk of injury, I suppose, if you're running with good form. So that was Saturday. I then Sunday morning did the Derby 10 mile this morning. So I started with a 2 mile warm up with Robbie, just low 8-minute mile pace, just around Pride Park, and then Derby 10. So the aim was before this to set off at 65-minute pace, so that was around 6:30 per mile, which I thought I could do fairly comfortably, as that was a marathon pace I've been training at over the block. I thought 2-3 weeks after the marathon it would just ease me back into that, but actually going off the first couple of miles my legs felt pretty good, and I did progress down to it overall averaged out about 6:20 pace on my watch, although the actual official split time, because my watch was counting as 10.1 miles, and the official split was probably about 6:24 a mile. So what was quite pleasing is that I did look at my watch when I went through the mile marker at 5 miles, and it read 32 minutes, and then I got my official time back and it was bang on 64 minutes. So to hit the first half in 32 and then do another 32 for the second half was really pleased with that. Meant that I kept even pace throughout, didn't drop off towards the end, and I feel like there was probably could have took a minute or two out of that with pushing it a little bit further, a little bit harder, but I just wanted to treat it as more like a hard session really, as a 10 mile tempo with good support and company from people watching and people running. So that was a good morning out at Derby 10. A solid training week. I did just under 50 miles, so I've built up from 28 miles in the first week after the marathon. I hit 40 miles last week and 49 this week, so I am going to try and keep it around that 50 mile mark, because then if I keep in the mileage at a 50 rather than building up to 60 or 70, I can hit more intensity in the speed work. With only 3 weeks to go till Telford, I'm probably looking to carry on doing 3 sessions per week, so 2 midweek and 1 at the weekend, focusing on that 5k, 10k sort of speed endurance element of it, as I don't need to have the endurance that you do for training for a marathon. So yeah, all in all, a good week. Check in again next week.